What's up, y'all? This is your girl, Keisha. But you can call me Key if you nasty. I'm just playing. But I'm back with another episode of A Deeper Dive with Key. Last week, I didn't even really listen to the whole last week episode, but it was kind of cringy listening back to it. I was just in my thoughts. It was like late at night, like 2 o'clock in the morning, and the thoughts wasn't flowing like I thought they was flowing. I thought that was a good episode when I did it, and then I looked back at it and I was like, nah, that wasn't even all that. It was too many pauses for me. The energy wasn't flowing. And this is another episode without an outline, and it's kind of off the dome, but I have an idea of what I want to say. So I know I've been, every Monday, and last Monday I did not record because, to be honest, I kind of forgot to record, and I don't really have nothing to say, but now I got something to say. So, last week, I had my first vocal lesson in 13 years. Yes, y'all, 13 years. And singing has always been a very, very, it's been a very, very, sensitive thing for me. I've always loved music. I've always loved creating. And so growing up, I really just wanted to sing. I wanted to be a singer. I wanted to do music. I saw both of my parents doing music, both of them being very creative and things like that. And that's what I wanted to do. I never had any doubt. But I think as you get older and you start opening yourself to outside criticism, you can start to be doubtful. And so out of all the creative endeavors that I've done and just putting myself out there, I have never really put myself out there with singing. So this is definitely something different for me. And I feel like it's healing in a sense. It's very, very, very healing in a sense to take vocal lessons for one in 13 years and two, be instructed by someone who you grew up thinking they were the best singer ever. I feel like what better way to conquer your fear than to be taught by someone that you've always admired and looked up to. So I'm really excited. After my first session, I ain't even gonna lie, I started doubting myself and I was like, I don't know. I don't think I have the love for it anymore. But the other day I was just singing around the house and I was like, you know what? I think it's something still there. So I'ma just see where it goes. And see where it takes me and not be afraid because it is what it is. But I'm really excited about that. I feel like just going back to what I was saying previously, as much as I have gone after my quote unquote dreams, I feel like I haven't. I've always been practical. I've always known I was a good writer. I was always confident in being a good writer. And I feel like the times that I was insecure about being a good writer, I feel like it eventually faded. And out of everything that I've done, I've been confident in my writing ability because it was just something that couldn't be shaken. I did have moments of insecurity with it, but at the core of it, I just couldn't be shaken with that. But with singing, it was different because I really enjoyed doing it. But as I got older, I was just always being criticized. And, it just made me not even want to do it anymore. And it made me not even want to pursue it. And I don't regret that period because I needed that. And I'm grateful, for the time that I didn't do it anymore. The last time I sung, publicly, like in front of an audience, was when I was 16, and I had a fashion show, and we had been practicing, and I had finally started to find my confidence in singing, and I was doing my vocal lesson. And unlike learning from my mom, I had a different vocal coach for the first time in my life. And so it was different, and I was finally finding my confidence with it, like really, really coming into my confidence with singing. And then the day of the show, he switched the music. It was not what we practiced with. It was like a totally different key, and I couldn't find a note, and I was getting so nervous, and I started to kind of sing off key, and I don't like being embarrassed. So I was just embarrassed. I had to hit a little run real quick to let people know that I could sing, even though I couldn't find a note. But I was just like so self-conscious, and I felt like I did terrible. And it was like people who are established in the audience, and I just felt so self-conscious, and I just felt, I don't know, I just felt terrible. I really felt terrible, y'all. And then, like, not even a year before that, like, was it the previous summer? Or it was not the year before that, but 2 years before that, I had auditioned for this school in the summer of 9th grade. I auditioned for this school, and I didn't get in. And so it wasn't even me not getting in. It was just like everything that could go wrong with my audition went wrong. Like, I couldn't find the song on karaoke. I couldn't find the song that I was singing. And then they end up having a version of one song, but I hadn't practiced in it. So you see, it's a pattern of like randomly having to be thrown into stuff where I hadn't practiced with it, and I'm like, what the fuck? I can't find a note. And just being nervous. And I wanted, man, when I tell you, I wanted that school so bad. I wanted that school so bad. And so it wasn't the fact that I just didn't get into the school. It was the fact that my best friend at the time told me like hurtful things that would like really kill my dreams of singing about my audition. And I just stopped singing, really. It was like I would have moments where I would still sing, and I still kind of sung from time to time, but like my dreams were shattered. And then my dreams were even more shattered when I had my first show as a teenager, like really, really singing solo. And then shit happened with my music. But I'm just excited to have lessons. I'm not thinking too much into it, because I feel like sometimes, because I am a dreamer, I just let my mind get carried away, and then I start putting pressure on myself because I have a timeline. But I'm really just like, with my vocal lessons, I'm just taking it day by day, week by week, or whenever I book. And so I'm just seeing what happens. Like, it is what it is. I'm just happy to be a little bit more confident in like every moment that I get a little bit more confidence, like, it's something. Because even with my first session, I didn't even know how to breathe for a second. Like, I just started getting so much anxiety and getting so anxious, and I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, I don't know. Like, and just being like terrified. And I think with singing, because it's been such a passion of mine that I never truly pursued, that I always, like, the longer that I went without doing it, the more anxious I got, the more like scared that I became of the rejection. And so, for example, like last year, I just really like started trying to build my confidence. And it started with me only singing when the dryer and the washer were going, or only when the shower was going, because I could hide behind it, and it kind of calmed me. And then it went from not having anything out and like being okay to listen to my voice. I remember when I first started trying to sing more often again. Like, I couldn't even stand to hear my voice being replayed on a recording, like a voice memo. Like, I couldn't stand it. Like, it made my stomach hurt. It made my skin crawl. And like, I didn't recognize that, like, I became my worst critic. Like, because of some of the fucked up shit people have, like, said to me in regards to this, like, I started saying even more fucked up shit. And I feel like it wasn't a lot of people that, like, said mean things. It was actually more people that thought I had a great voice than didn't. But it's always the few, like, you know how we get mad or get annoyed when celebrities always respond to the hate comments? It's like the hate sticks out more than the love. It's so easy to disregard the love. It's so easy to be like, oh, okay, because love is it's just normal. It's just a natural thing. You're just like, oh, okay, yeah, you think I'm great. Cool. But it's that one comment, it's that one nasty, mean thing that can really fuck up your day at times. And, like, people don't like to admit it. I know that, like, personally, because just who I am, I always used to think, like, oh, if I ever get, like, a lot of followers, I'm just not gonna read the comments no more. I'm just not gonna do that. Subconsciously, like, bitch, you're not even singing because of what somebody said to you 13 years ago. You're not even doing this because of middle school. Like, I had so much trauma with singing. Like, in middle school, we had this, like, fake sorority. So we had, like, these fake sororities at our school where they were, like, mini sororities. And we had to pledge and stuff, and then we have to cross over, and then we get into the like, fraternities and sororities. So I was in this one sorority, and my nickname, because, you know, you have to have line names. My nickname was Karaoke spelt wrong. And so they gave me that name because they was basically saying, like, oh, you're like the karaoke version of songs. Like, it sound like it, but it's not quite there. And, like, I feel like being in middle school like that sticks with you. And then the more, like, things happen, I just kept, like, I don't know. Fuck that. I do know. Like, I just kept going more and more into my shell when it came to singing. Like, it started with, you know, my mom being my vocal coach and overly criticizing me. Or if I wanted to try to find my sound, just like, I don't like all those runs, or you doing too much, or da-da-da. And it was just like those little critiques. And then it started with, like, the middle school comments and things like that. And so when I got to high school, I didn't really sing, like, solos, or I was in the choir, like, freshman year, but I didn't sing, like, any solos and things like that. I didn't really, like, show my voice like that. And I remember having this guy in my choir class named Ryan, and he was so awesome because, like, I just thought he was, like, an amazing singer, just like the vocal coach that I have now. I just thought he was such an amazing singer. And he really encouraged me. Like, he really, like, you know, like, affirmed me and affirmed who I was as a vocalist. And I'm getting all, like, choked up just talking about this. Man, R.I.P. Ryan. But in high school, in 9th grade, he just really affirmed me. And he really wanted me to, like, really take singing seriously. And I remember, like, years later when I was an adult and we end up going to the same church, and he was like, you know, you need to be in a choir. You need to get up here and get in the choir. And he would always get on me. Like, every time I see him at church, he'd be like, Keisha, you know you need to be in a choir. Da-da-da-da. And I just really appreciate God for allowing him to be there for me, to affirm me in my singing, because I was very insecure. And as I got older, the insecurity just became bigger and bigger with it. And I could remember like freshman year of college. So by that time, I really, really didn't sing like that. And, like in high school, I used to have a homegirl, named Chrissy, and like we'd be like singing along to the song and stuff, and she'd be like, oh, I hear that note or something like that. But like I never wanted to be that person that could sing that was just annoying with it, that like sing all the time, like make everybody around them feel like insignificant or something like that. I never wanted to be like that because I wasn't even that confident with singing to begin with. And so I could remember like in college, like one time we was in the car and I was singing, we was all singing along to the song, and one of my homegirls was like, be quiet, like and then I just started getting really like, I think that was even more a nail in the coffin. Like it was like slowly over the years, like more and more I just kept going in and in and in and in and in until I was all the way in my cocoon. And then I just pretended I couldn't sing. So then when we were singing to songs and stuff, I wouldn't sing around people. I was just over it. I was tired of like those people that wanted to sing but couldn't sing like that, like couldn't sing at all, like basically like talking shit. But I had to recognize, and I'm recognizing that it was out of their insecurity that they had to like try to put me down. They didn't want to hear it because it made them feel like away within themselves. And so I'm just happy to be doing it again. And I just have to practice what I preach. Because, like, you know, to my friends, like, when they poke at their insecurities, I just be like, be kind to yourself. But I don't realize, like, how much shit I talk to myself about myself when it comes to singing. I'll be like, bitch, you can't even really sing like that. Like, I be saying the worst shit. And I feel like it all stemmed from those little nuances, those little things that, you know, you hear and they stick with you until it's like, I literally, y'all, for years as an adult, like, I was so insecure about singing that I literally got anxiety. I didn't even want to sing around the house. I didn't want to, like, it was just uncomfortable, like, even singing in the shower. And so, yeah, that's just really what it is. But I can't believe I start crying while I'm recording this. Yeah. So that's what's new with me. And let me turn on my little heater because it's a little cold. It's been really cold in Kansas lately. It haven't been snowing as much as last year, which I am happy about because it was cold as fuck last year. But it's been a little chilly. So I got this little mini heater. And I'm not a super cold person, so I don't turn on the big heater like for my whole apartment. But I got like a little personal heater for my toes because my feet be freezing, y'all. My feet just be, ugh. So that's what's new with me. I'm facing my fears, truly facing my fears, and just doing something else that scares me. I feel like every year as an adult, every year I get older, I get a little braver. And a lot of people, you know, they look at me and they look at like how I talk, and they might see so much confidence, but like I still struggle, y'all. And the only difference for me and a lot of people is that even as I struggle, I still step forward. I still own my shit. I'm just grateful to be this soul, to be this person, to be who I am, to have the core values that I have, because it's important. So that's what's new with me. What else do I want to talk about? Also, can we talk about like friendships? I feel like I always be talking about friendships, but it be shady. So today I hit up one of my friends that I hadn't talked to really since like September, I want to say August, September, like end of August, more so end of August. Like it slowly started. And I don't know, it's this weird thing that we do in friendships where like somebody will stop really talking to you, and then a couple of weeks to go by, and then the conversations get drier and drier and drier until you just stop hitting people up because it don't seem like they want to talk to you. So you just like, I don't know. But I hit up my friend, and it was a brief conversation, but it was good. Like it was like nothing happened, but that wasn't like even the friendship I was like referring to when I talk about friendships. Like I feel like I was making general assumptions, like when you in like not a dark place, but when you in a place where you just feel like you ain't got no friends right now. So you just be shady. You just be throwing shade in every way, making generalities. Like, man, friendships are, it is what it is. They're overrated. But no, I love having friendships. I love people. And it's okay to change your mind, y'all. Like, it's really okay to change your mind. And so when it was a disruption in my relationship sector last year, I was just like, you know what? At this point, throw everybody away then. If it's not meant to be, it just won't be. And I was just like, well, I just want new friends that are this. And I think sometimes when things aren't going our way, we want to seek out perfection. But as I was doing a lot of journaling today and doing a lot of reflection, I recognized that, like, I love my people that, like, God brought into my life because I love them, like, regardless of what they're going through. I had this, like, when everything was happening last year and, like I had a solid core friendship group, and I just felt like I wasn't really talking to nobody but my cousin. Like, everybody just faded away, like the homegirls that I had. And so I was just like, you know what? Maybe I'm, like, I start overthinking and overanalyzing. I'm like, maybe I'm just attracted friendship wise to people with, like, maybe I'm trauma bonding. Like, I was just like doing a lot of thinking, and I'm like, excuse me, I'm just like, maybe I'm just connected to them because of trauma, and maybe because I'm doing the work and I'm healing, that's the reason that we don't resonate no more. And so I think, like, I didn't want to hear it when my therapist told me this. She's still fired, but I think it was meant for us to have this one conversation about friendship, because we were talking about this friend that I had since the 9th grade, and we had been close. We had never fallen out. Like, we've been close from 9th grade, so from 13 to 29. So, shit, I've been friends with this person more than half my life. Not even realizing it, because time just go fucking fast. But we were talking, and I was just telling her why we fell out. And this, like, I had three. Okay, so besides my cousin, I had 3 homegirls. And so it just seemed like nobody was talking to me. Like, everything, like, 2 of them, it wasn't like no big blow up. But the one that I had for 16 years, it was like not really a blow up, but it was a conversation that led to us not talking. The other 2, it was like, okay, I'm calling you, you don't call me back. Oh, I'm gonna call you back. You don't call me back. Then it turned into a couple of weeks. Then it turned into a month. And then we not talking no more. It's just like, oh, okay, well, I'm just not gonna reach out. But I think, like, with the friendship that I had for 16 years, I was like, I talked to her with my therapist, and she was like, yeah, well, maybe you're hurt. I just feel like this was a good friendship. I'm like, no, I'm okay with it ending. Like, my ass, like, I'm okay. And, today when I was thinking, I was like, you know what? I'm open if that friendship does come around. Because in the beginning, I was just like, man, fuck that. Like, I feel like I've become more mature with my friendships, but also, I got a little petty in me. So I was just like, thank you for your services. Good day, in my mind. You know what I'm saying? I haven't talked to that friend, but it was another friendship that kind of faded off, where it wasn't no bad blood, or it wasn't no conversation that led to us not talking. It was just it was one of the friends that, like, it was just like, oh, I call you, you don't call me back. Da, da, da. It was just like a lack of communication, and it just fell apart. So I reached out to one of those. But the friendship that I had for 16 years, I was like I had been talking about it with my cousin, like, yeah, I'm okay with it ending. Like, even with my therapist, I'm like, I'm okay with it ending. And she was telling me, like, yeah, I had that point that happened where, like, my friends wouldn't hit me up, and then I started being like, oh, I'm only hitting them up. So then I stopped talking, and I end up not with no friends. And I was like, okay, well, I feel like I can make more friends. I feel like I can make friends that'll have all the characteristics that I want. And she was just saying, like, I think it comes a time where, like, you have to realize, like, who's worth, like, what friendships are worth it. And so I was in a place where, like, when all that happened in my friendship sector, like, I didn't have any trouble really in my friendship sector since, like, 2017, where it was the first, like, really blow up and mash up of my friendship sector. So I thought, like, I had reshifted my circle, and this was the circle that was solid. This was going to be the lifetime circle. I finally had got it right. And so then when all those friendships fell apart last year, I was like, what the fuck? Like, I thought I had found my people. I thought I had found my tribe. What's going on? And so, I was just so tired of people not being in my life no more. And, like, that process of starting over, getting to know people, and then, y'all fall off, or it just becomes distant, or, I was just tired of that. And so when I thought about it, I think I used to have this romanticized view of just relationships in general, not just romantic, but, like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, romanticized in a sense where, like, I just feel like everything should be berries and juices. Like, everything should be coup de la. Like, it should not be any conflict at a point. Like, everything should just be good and permanently be good. But relationships go through shit. You know what I'm saying? And it comes a point where, like, what is worth it? So, like, the friendship that I hit up today, it was like, I sat back and realized, like, could I just have reached out to my friend and say, hey, friend, I miss you. Like, it did kind of hurt my feelings when you stopped returning my calls like that. And, like, I feel like that one conversation would have neglected all that time, because sometimes we just let time get in the way with whether it's a romantic relationship, it's a friendship, it's a family dynamic, whatever. Like, sometimes we let too much time get in the way. And so, when I was thinking, I was like, I do think she's worth, I do think this relationship is worth, like, reaching out, because I'm the type of person, I don't like living with regrets. And as I think because I started to lose so much, whether it's friendships, whether it's apartments, I was okay with continuously. Then I just started, how do I explain this? It got to a point where, like, I wasn't losing things anymore. I was just letting shit go. I was letting everything go. Even if it didn't have to go, I was just letting everything go. But I think sometimes you have to lose a lot, and then it's a period where you have to release a lot to recognize what's worth trying to keep. Because I had to get to a point where, like, so I'm sorry, let me get my thoughts together, y'all. Let me get my thoughts together. I'm trying to get my thoughts together, okay? Sorry if it's gonna be some I think, in this little segment. I'm gonna get back with the outline next week, because this talking on the top of your dome, it ain't. I think those outlines was really helping me. But, I just wanted to do it off the top of the dome today. It was flowing at first, but now that I'm like really like in my thoughts, it's kind of lagging a little bit. So, boom. When like you are so used to, I feel like, okay, growing up, I had to get my thoughts together. So how like growing up, well, for me growing up, I used to hold on to people. So when people died, that made me hold on to the people that I had closer. And so then I went through a period of time where like people were living, but they were just leaving my life. And so then that made me close off. Excuse me. It made me close off. But then when I started to open up myself again, then I was just letting everything flow. And then with letting everything flow, sometimes I didn't recognize that in a way I started kind of pushing people away. I feel like, well, not even pushing people away, but I stopped fighting for, y'all, I'm trying to get it together, but I'm just having a brain fart in this moment, but bear with me. I started like, I'm mad that like this episode started off so good, but it's a deeper dive with Key, because I'm human, okay? I'm human, y'all. I'm human. I just can't get my thoughts together. Okay, so boom. I'm gonna have to re-say it because I finally got my thoughts together. I finally can I get my thoughts together with y'all? Can I get my thoughts together? Okay. So it started off where when I lost people as far as death, I would hold on to the people that I had tightly. Then it was a period in my life where I was losing friendships that I thought I would have forever. I was losing them. And so I went for a while where I was like closed off. I didn't want to get close to people. Then I recognized that wasn't serving me. So then I was opening my heart. But then with opening my heart, I was just okay with, it was like I started losing people again, and I was just like, dang, like, okay, whatever. But then I was fighting for the wrong people. And so I had to go through all of those different seasons to recognize what is seasonal, what is worth letting go, and what is worth saying, hey, I want this to work. And so when I hit up my friend today, I recognized that like it wasn't no beef throughout the whole time. It wasn't no beef. Like, even I felt the way. It wasn't even that I felt the way. It was like, oh, okay, well, I guess this just is not resonating in my life no more. So I'm going to just let it go. You know what I'm saying? But in a sense, at first I was hurt, but then I had like the knowing that like, okay, well, if it's not meant for me, I'm not going to keep trying to force it. So I'm going to just let this shit go. You get what I'm saying? And so later down the line, because I was letting everything go, just letting it flow, I recognized that like this was a friendship worth fighting for. That like all it took was one simple conversation. And because it was so much truth and honesty, I was like, hey, I really enjoy this friendship. I think this could be a lifetime friendship. I think this could be a lifetime sisterhood. And I think with doing the work, quote unquote, you get to a point where you feel like, okay, well, if it's meant to be, everything will be perfect. But sometimes, even when it's meant to be, things are going to have little bumps in the road. It don't have to be a whole bunch of drama, but some things will happen. Sometimes it'll be a miscommunication, and it's up to you to, as you continue to grow, it's just about really recognizing and learning faster, if that makes sense. So back to the friendship of 16 years, when I was talking about what happened and like our little blowout, it wasn't even drama filled on my end. It was like, she said something, I said something, she came spicy, and I was just like, take care, period. I didn't write nothing else. And then it was like she had to retaliate over the top. But my sister is dramatic. And she blocked me on everything. So I was just like, okay, well, cool. But then when my therapist was trying to tell me that I was hurt, I was like, no, I ain't hurt. It is what it is. But, like, bitch, you're not human. If you don't think, like, yeah, it was hurtful, but I think I was just trying to be like, okay, it hurt, and, like, I can't cry over it. But now I'm in a space where, like, if that friendship had to circle back around, I'd be open to it. I think because, like, okay, I watched this Instagram live, and this guy, he was talking about how, like, he don't believe that anything is by chance. Like, if we beef, like, or if it's distance or we fall out, like, it happened for a reason. You're not meant to be in my life no more. And I was like, you know what? Maybe that's true. So then I started having situations where, like, things would fall off and things wouldn't be cool. And I'm just like, you know what? Fuck it. Let it fall where it may. God go replace it with better. And then it ended up being how my therapist said, just how she ended up with no friends at all. I was with no friends at all. I mean, I had my cousin, but, like, as far as homegirls outside of your family, I didn't have no friends at all. Because I stopped being the one. And sometimes, like, you have to recognize your role in people's life or your role in relationships. Not saying that every friendship is going to be a friendship that always reaches out to you or always feeds into you as equally as you feed into them. Like, we all have roles. And sometimes you are meant to pour into certain people, and sometimes certain people are meant to pour into you. Sometimes friendship is very reciprocative equally, and sometimes it's not. But also, everything is not just black and white, because you have some friendships where you might spend a period pouring more into them, and then it might be a season later on that they're pouring more into you. It might be a season that you got it like that, and it's another season that you ain't got it like that, and they got it like that, and they're able to bless you. So it's not really black and white. And I think as I was trying to, we really don't know shit. I be trying to say like I'm doing the work, but like the more I go deeper, the more I don't fucking know. And so with that being said, I had to recognize that things aren't just black and white. Even like, and I'll touch on this more in the next episode, even just my stance on romantic relationships have evolved and changed. I just feel like as I get older, I'm just less of a judgmental ass bitch as I grew up to be. Because can we be honest, the church make you a little bit como se dice, the church make you a little bit judgmental. You low-key judging. When you learn about sin, you're like, oh, you're sinning. You're judging. And as I'm getting older, I'm just more open to like things and relationships and friendships. I'm just open to different types of things and recognizing it's not a black and white. It's not just a full reciprocity in all areas and all aspects. Everybody has strengths and weaknesses, and it's just like, how do y'all complement, and can y'all complement each other? I feel like it doesn't matter who's doing more or less in what area, but it's like, as a whole, how do y'all complement each other? And I recognize, like, it's ways that, like, in friendship we have a complementary thing. And not saying that when you have a disruption in your relationships that all friendships are salvageable. Sometimes they're not. And sometimes you have to shift and know. Like, it might be friendships that are longer than newer friendships. And God is like, no, you're ready to go to the next level. Here's a new one that's going to actually be the lifetime when you thought, but you were actually getting the knowledge in this friendship to help better equip you for the next friendship. So I'm just grateful just for the things that I learned. A lot of times, I'm not even gonna lie, I do be wishing that I had guidance from like an actual person, like a parent, or like these conversations that I end up having with myself, and the insights that I develop on my own. Sometimes I wish like this was a conversation I could have with my mom, that I could learn it quicker. And I'd be like, you right. Like, you talk about it with your mom and they have that peace of mind. But sometimes you got to go through the lessons and have that aha moment a few months later, maybe a year later, where you recognize that, like, okay, maybe I was tripping. Maybe I was being a little sensitive. And also not beating yourself up. And so I guess I'll title this episode, It's Okay to Change Your Mind. Because it really is okay to change your mind. You may think like we all like say things in anger. As you get older, you might not say as much in anger as far as things that you can't take back. But like, we all have our moments where we think things are just gone for good. Things are just banished forever. And we have aha moments later down the road where we like, maybe we can revisit this. And so I had that moment today where I'm like, maybe I can revisit this. And I'm grateful I did, because I was scared. I was scared to text my friend. I was scared to text my sis. And because I didn't know, like, that's the thing about, like, real friendships. Sometimes you don't know. But it's worth putting yourself out there and not closing yourself up. So I was worried about the, I don't want to be that friend that's like, oh my God, I'm going to just keep banging over a dead horse. But I think like grace is deserved in times. So with this situation, I was just like, you know what? I'm going to hit them up and I'm going to leave it in God's hand. If it's supposed to be, it'll be. And then, like, they were receptive. And I was grateful because I'm like, oh, okay, cool. But I also made in my mind that even if I was rejected, I was going to be okay. But, like, life is all about risk. So you just have to be willing to recognize within yourself what is worth the risk. And I felt like the bond that we were building was definitely worth it. It was such a pure friendship, like a pure friendship that I prayed for, that I was like, you know what? I'm not going to let too much time pass. I'm not going to let a year pass. I'm not going to let, because of who hit who up first or who got busy with life. Like, life happens, shit happens. But I think, like, it was worth fighting for. And I'm just grateful that, we talking again. It was like, and you know when those friendships are meant to be, because like when y'all come together, it be like nothing ever happened. It be just like old times. Like everybody's just like cool, like okay, nothing ever happened. And I think sometimes with new friendships that are going to be lifelong friendships, sometimes in the beginning you gotta iron out the kinks and you gotta find y'all flow. And so it's crazy because the two friendships where it wasn't like an actual blow up or nothing, one of those friendships I have, but like I said in the title, you can always change your mind. I feel like even though it was a longer season, I don't think that's a lifetime friendship. I think it's a lifetime lesson. But I don't think, as much as I wanted and as much as I believed that was going to be a friendship that was going to be always in my life, and a sisterhood that was going to always be in my life, I'm actually feeling like it was here for a reason. And I've learned the lesson that friendship needed to teach me. And I'm okay with that one, like, ending permanently with, like, no beef. It's no beef. But it's just like, okay, we're kind of cool. We're kind of cool. But these two, out of those three, these two, I feel like they're worth leaving the door open. I'ma leave the door open. I'ma leave the door open. Y'all thought I was gonna really try to sing for y'all. Nah, I ain't that confident yet. I'm working on it. But I hope y'all have a wonderful, blessed week. I know I was kind of rambling on, but we gonna get better how we was in the first 2 episodes with the outline and everything, because I just felt like it flowed better. And I don't know if I'm going to be back on video. We're just gonna play it by ear and just take it day by day. At first I wanted to come in this thing with like video, audio, da. But I'm gonna just do what works for me. And I hope, y'all could fuck with it. You know what I'm saying? I hope y'all could fuck with it. But yes, have a great day. I love y'all. Nobody listens to these videos, but I love me. I listen to my videos and I am somebody. So you know what? I love me. And have a great week.